let me tell you something that will make you angry. Not frustrated, not uncomfortable, actually angry. Because what I'm about to share isn't complicated. It isn't hidden behind a finance degree or locked in some exclusive club for people with generational wealth. It's sitting right out in the open. It's been sitting there for decades. And the reason most Americans never find it isn't because they're not smart enough. It isn't because they don't work hard enough. It's because nobody ever sat them down and explained the actual rules. Not the rules they teach you in school, not the rules your parents pass down, not the rules the financial industry wants you to believe. The real rules. The ones that separate the people who spend their entire lives trading hours for dollars from the people who quietly build something that works without them. I'm going to walk you through every single one of them today. And by the end of this, you're going to look at your financial life completely differently. Not because I'm going to tell you to cut your lattes, not because I'm going to hand you some magic investment tip, but because understanding these rules changes how you see money at a fundamental level. Let's start with the one that most people never recover from.
Rule number 1. You were taught to be a consumer, not a builder. From the moment you were old enough to understand advertising, the entire American economic machine has been training you to do one thing: spend. Think about how you were raised to think about money. You worked, you got paid, you bought things. That was the cycle. Earn, spend, earn again. And the implicit promise was that if you worked hard enough, made enough money, you'd eventually buy your way into comfort and security. That's not wealth. That's a hamster wheel with a higher price tag. Here's the rule nobody teaches you. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they build systems that produce money. And the difference between those two things is the entire ballgame. A consumer mindset says, how much can I afford to buy? A builder mindset says, how much of what I earn can I put to work? The average American household earns around $74,000 a year. Over a 40-year career, that's nearly $3 million in lifetime earnings. And the average American reaches retirement with less than $100,000 saved. $3 million flowed through their hands, and almost none of it stayed. That isn't bad luck. That isn't the economy's fault, though yes, the system is rigged against you in other ways we'll get to. That's a mindset problem, a foundational belief that money is something you earn and then exchange for things, rather than something you earn and then put to work. The first rule of wealth is this: you don't just earn money, you build a second engine that runs while you sleep. And you build that engine with the money you already have, not the money you're going to earn someday, the money you have right now.
Rule number 2. Income is not wealth. This is the one that trips up high earners the most. People who make $150,000 a year and somehow end up broke at 60 aren't stupid. They got confused about a fundamental concept. They thought income and wealth were the same thing. They are not. Income is the water coming out of the faucet. Wealth is the water stored in the tank. You can have a massive faucet pouring constantly, but if the tank has holes in it, you end up with nothing. And the American lifestyle is engineered to put holes in your tank. Bigger house, nicer car, private school, business class, the vacation that proves you've made it. None of these are wrong on their own. The problem is when they expand in direct proportion to your income. You never actually build the tank. You just upgrade the holes. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the silent destroyer of middle-class wealth in this country. Here's the hidden rule. Your lifestyle should grow slower than your income. Every time you get a raise, the majority of that raise should be redirected before your lifestyle ever sees it. Your nervous system adjusts to whatever you spend. If you earn $5,000 more this year and redirect $3,500 of it, you'll barely notice the $1,500 lifestyle bump, but you will absolutely feel the compound growth of that $3,500 in 15 years. Most people flip this. They take the raise, Upgrade the lifestyle, feel the pleasure of the upgrade for about 3 weeks, and then return to exactly the same baseline level of satisfaction they had before. Hedonic adaptation is real. The joy fades, but the payment doesn't. Wealthy people have figured out how to keep their satisfaction level high without requiring the lifestyle to grow with it. They get their fulfillment from other places, from freedom, from optionality, from knowing that the tank keeps getting fuller even when the faucet slows down. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep and keep working.
Rule number 3. Your biggest financial enemy lives in your head. Before we talk about the stock market, before we talk about real estate, before we talk about any specific vehicle for building wealth, we have to talk about the enemy. And the enemy isn't inflation, though inflation will eat you alive if you let it. The enemy isn't the financial system, though yes, it's designed to extract from you at every turn. The enemy is the emotional relationship you have with money. Fear, specifically, is the most expensive emotion you will ever experience. Fear of losing money keeps people in savings accounts earning 0.5% while inflation quietly runs at 3%. Fear of making a mistake keeps people from starting. Fear of looking stupid keeps people from asking questions. Fear of losing what they've already built keeps people from letting their money work hard enough to actually grow. And on the other side of fear is something just as expensive: impatience. Impatience is why people pull money out of investments the moment the market drops. It's why they chase last year's hot stock instead of staying in the boring index fund that beats most professionals over 20 years. It's why they give up in year 3 of a 25-year plan, because the results don't look dramatic enough. The hidden rule is this: your ability to manage your own psychology is worth more than any investment strategy you will ever find. A mediocre strategy executed consistently will outperform a brilliant strategy executed emotionally every single time. The investors who got rich off the S&P 500 didn't get rich because the S&P 500 is a secret. They got rich because they stayed in it when everyone else panicked. They got rich because they didn't sell in 2008. They didn't sell in 2020. They treated the dips as sales rather than disasters. Warren Buffett isn't the richest investor in American history because he's the smartest. There are smarter people than Warren Buffett who are not billionaires. He's the richest because he has the most disciplined emotional relationship with money of almost anyone alive. He doesn't panic. He doesn't chase. He doesn't need to feel something to stay the course. That's the rule. Master your emotions around money, or your emotions will spend your money for you. Rule number 4. Time is the only resource you cannot buy more of. Here's the one that should make you feel genuine urgency right now. Not panic, but urgency. Every single financial advantage you have access to: compound interest, index fund growth, dollar cost averaging, real estate appreciation, all of it operates on one resource above everything else: time. And unlike money, you can't earn more of it. You can't borrow it. You can't find it on the floor. Every day that passes is a day of compounding you can never get back. The difference between starting to invest at 25 versus 35 is not 10 years of contributions. The math does not work that way. The difference is tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the first 10 years of a compound growth engine are laying the foundation that every subsequent year builds on. Let me make this concrete. 2 people, same income, same $500 a month. Person A starts at 25, person B starts at 35. Both stop at 65. Person A has 40 years of compounding. Person B has 30 years. At a 7% average annual return, person A ends up with roughly $1.3 million. Person B ends up with roughly $600,000. Same monthly amount, same discipline, same investment vehicle. One decision made 10 years earlier resulted in more than double the outcome.
That's not a small difference in the math. That's a completely different retirement. That's the difference between working part-time at 70 because you want to and working because you have to. The hidden rule is this: start before you're ready. You are never going to feel financially stable enough, prepared enough, or knowledgeable enough to start. That feeling never arrives on its own. You have to start first, and the confidence comes after. The perfect portfolio you start next year will almost always lose to the imperfect portfolio you start this month. Time is not on your side by default. It only works for you if you activate it.
Rule number 5. The game is rigged, and the way to win is to stop playing the rigged parts. This is the one that makes people uncomfortable because Americans are taught to believe in the meritocracy of wealth. Work hard, get rich. Play by the rules, succeed. That narrative is partially true and deliberately incomplete. Here's what's real. The financial system in America is designed to move money from people who don't understand it to people who do. Not through theft, not through crime, through structure. Credit card companies make money because people carry balances. The average interest rate on an American credit card is over 20%. At 20% interest, a $5,000 balance that you make minimum payments on will take over 30 years to pay off and cost you more than $12,000 in interest alone. That is not bad luck. That is an engineered system working exactly as intended. Car dealerships make money on financing, not on car sales. The actual profit margin on a vehicle sale is often razor thin. The dealership makes its money on the loan they convince you to take, the extended warranty you don't need, and the trade-in they undervalue. Every single element of the process is designed to extract from people who haven't studied the game. Retail investing platforms make money on your trading activity. Every time you buy and sell individual stocks, someone is capturing a spread. The more active a retail investor is, the worse their long-term returns. So here's the rule. Stop playing in the rigged parts of the game and ruthlessly concentrate in the parts where the math genuinely works in your favor. Pay off high-interest debt before you invest anything else because there is no investment that consistently returns 22%. Eliminating a 22% debt is a guaranteed 22% return. Never carry a credit card balance. Use credit cards for the rewards and protections, then pay them in full every month. Let the system work for you instead of against you. Stop buying new cars. A new vehicle loses roughly 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Buy a 2- or 3-year-old vehicle with low miles and let someone else absorb that depreciation. Stop paying for financial advice that comes with commissions. Find fee-only fiduciaries if you need professional guidance. Someone paid on commission has a financial incentive to recommend products that benefit them, not you. The wealthy don't succeed despite the system. They succeed because they understand which parts of the system extract from them, and they opt out. They use the tax code that was written, in many cases, by people who benefit from it. They take every legal advantage available. They stop donating money to intermediaries who add no value. Understanding the game means knowing which table to sit at. Rule number 6. Taxes are a strategy, not just a bill. Here is one of the most underutilized advantages available to ordinary American earners, and it's completely legal, completely documented, and almost entirely ignored. The tax code is not just a collection of obligations, it is a collection of decisions. And every year, most Americans make the default decision, which is almost always the most expensive one. The hidden rule is this: tax-advantaged accounts are one of the most powerful wealth-building tools ever created, and most people treat them as optional extras rather than the foundation of everything. A 401k with an employer match is an immediate 50 to 100% return on the portion of money you contribute, up to the match. Think about what that means.
Before the money even enters the market, before compound interest touches a single dollar, you've already doubled part of your investment through your employer's contribution. Turning that down is like being handed free money and handing it back. A Roth IRA lets you contribute after-tax dollars that then grow completely tax-free for decades. The money you put in at 30 and every dollar of growth that money generates between 30 and 65 comes out at retirement without the IRS taking a single dollar. That is a structural advantage that most Americans walk past every single year because they think of it as complicated or irrelevant. An HSA, a health savings account for those who qualify, is the only triple tax-advantaged account in existence. Contributions go in pre-tax, growth is tax-free, withdrawals for medical expenses are tax-free, and after age 65, withdrawals for any purpose are taxed like a traditional IRA. It's a stealth retirement account hiding inside a health benefit. The wealthy pay lower effective tax rates than the middle class, not because they cheat, though some do, but because they understand and use every legal structure available. You have access to most of those same structures: the 401k, the IRA, the HSA, the ability to harvest investment losses to offset gains. These tools exist. Most Americans just never pick them up. Every dollar you keep from unnecessary taxes is a dollar that can compound for the next 20 years. That is not a small thing. That is, over a lifetime, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. The rule is simple. Before you optimize what you invest in, optimize where you invest it.
Rule number 7. Your network determines your financial ceiling. This one is the most uncomfortable because it sounds like I'm telling you that who you know matters more than what you know. And the American meritocracy story doesn't like that narrative. But here's the reality. Your financial behavior, your spending habits, your savings rate, your risk tolerance, your beliefs about money, all of these are deeply shaped by the people you spend the most time with. If everyone in your social circle finances new cars, you'll finance a new car. If everyone around you carries credit card debt, you'll carry credit card debt. If everyone you know spends their raise before it even clears, you'll spend your raise. This isn't weakness. This is human psychology. We calibrate to our environment. We read social cues to understand what's normal. And if normal in your world means spending everything and investing nothing, that is the current you'll swim in your whole life unless you deliberately swim against it. The hidden rule is this: get close to people who are doing what you want to do. This doesn't mean abandoning your friends or pretending you're someone you're not. It means deliberately seeking out people who talk about money differently than you were raised to talk about it. People who get excited about index fund returns instead of lease payments. People who consider the 30-year cost of a decision, not just the monthly payment. Podcasts count. Books count. Online communities count. The information you consume regularly shapes what feels normal to you. If your steady diet is content from people who have figured out the long game of building wealth, that becomes your new normal. Your environment is not fixed. You get to choose it. And that choice will determine more than almost anything else whether the rules in this video ever actually change your behavior. Rule number 8. Wealth is built in the boring middle. Here's the final rule, and it might be the most important one of all. Every dramatic story about wealth, the overnight success, the lucky investment, the entrepreneur who made it big at 28, these stories are real. They also represent a statistical rounding error. For every person who got rich fast, there are 10,000 people who got rich slowly. You just never hear about them, because slow is not a story anyone wants to watch. The hidden rule is this: the most reliable path to wealth is almost aggressively boring. It's a consistent monthly contribution to a low-cost index fund over decades. It's automatic payroll deductions that you never see leave your account. It's a tax-advantaged structure that quietly grows without requiring your attention. It's the discipline to not touch it when the market drops 30% and not get greedy when it surges 40%. It requires no genius, no timing, no luck, no connections, and no inside information. Just the willingness to do something boring for a very long time. The people who are most tempted to abandon this path are often the most intelligent and ambitious ones. They want the exciting version. They want to pick the right stock. They want to time the entry and exit. They want the story. And statistically, over 20 years, they end up behind the boring index fund investor who did nothing special except start early and never stop. The S&P 500 has returned an average of roughly 10% annually over the past century, including every crash, every recession, every panic, every war, every political upheaval. The people who captured that return are not the ones who are watching it the closest. They're the ones who are watching it the least. Boredom is a feature, not a bug.
Bringing it all together, let me give you the rules back to back because they only work as a system. You have to shift from a consumer mindset to a builder mindset. Income is not wealth. Wealth is what you keep and put to work. Your psychology is your most expensive asset or your most expensive liability. Time is irreplaceable, and every month you wait has a real dollar cost you'll eventually feel. The system is designed to extract from the uninformed, so stop playing in the rigged parts. Taxes are a strategy, and the structures available to ordinary Americans are wildly underused. Your environment shapes your behavior, and you get to choose your environment. And the actual path to wealth is boring, consistent, and completely available to you right now. None of this requires you to be exceptional. Andre isn't exceptional. He's just applying rules that most people never learned. The gap between the people who build real wealth over a lifetime and the people who don't isn't talent or luck or timing. It's access to these rules. And now you have them. The question that's left is the same one it's always been. Knowing the rules is easy. Playing the long game is where most people fold. 4 out of 5 Americans will read something like this, feel a moment of clarity, and then go back to exactly what they were doing. The one who doesn't is you, if you decide it is. The rules are on the table. What you do next is completely up to you.